Hi everyone. So this is a psychic reading on Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, currently battling Russia, as you may know. When I tune into Zelensky, the first thing that comes up for me is a very faithful and devoted person. The way that I saw this was through an image of a three-pronged candelabra, which, as far as I understand, is used religiously in Jewish tradition. And I also saw a Star of David symbol, and I just got the sense that this is really important to him and it's a big deal. So he's like very, very religious, very Jewish. And so the idea that he is a neo-Nazi, um, I canceled that out. Part of why I'm doing this reading is because there's a lot of conspiracy theories that I find interesting, and I wanted to see if maybe there was some truth to it. But that one ruled out so far. I see that his faith is his strength and his weakness, but it's also kind of why he's gotten to where he is, why he is seen as a hero in the media. It's because of this faith that he has, willing to, meet the odds. The next thing that I got, the next vision I had, was him with his finger on the kill button, and it was about him being able to sacrifice troops in order to, win the battle, but also mostly for his own safety. And I saw this being an option that he has that people may not be aware of, that he kind of has more power than people realize. But I don't see him doing this, and I don't see him doing it in the future or planning on doing it, although there is part of him where he keeps it as an option. I do get the sense that things are going smoother for him than people may think. He seems to have it a lot easier than it is being portrayed in the media, as the odds being against him. I'm talking about him specifically, more so than Ukraine as a country. And there's a lot of protection from the United States protecting Zelensky. And this is in ways that I don't necessarily understand myself, but there's some kind of like secret protection, this power to keep him safe in Ukraine that isn't being discussed, and that could be for military strategic purposes, because you don't want to give your secrets away, obviously. But either way, there's some sort of, I'm not sure if that's why, but there's some sort of extra protection that he has, safety, that we don't necessarily know about from the media. I do see that there have been past deals made with the U.S. to protect his border in exchange for him cooperating with the United States, because the United States wants to, be in charge and kind of have the ability to manipulate things from far away. I hear him saying, "We will make this work," to the public, and he's very encouraging, and he's riling people up. In a more conspiracy sort of way, I see him encouraging escalation of the situation. I saw an image of him symbolically allowing the tanks in, or encouraging them, being like, "Come on, let's do this." And this is for international attention, because he wants to kind of put on a show, more than a show, but he wants the international attention to see what's going on, and this is all for the purpose of justifying more help from the U.S. and kind of uniting with the United States, and there's some sort of agreement to kind of cooperate more and unify on some level. I do see in the past, I saw an image of Putin whispering in Zelensky's ear, and this is of course symbolic, probably not literal. And it was like he was telling him secrets, and he was trying to get him to work for him and do his bidding. But I see that the U.S. was able to convince him that the U.S. is stronger, and so he sided with the bigger player because he didn't want to be on the losing team. I see Putin being very angry about this, and there's some sense of feeling betrayed from him. Although I think he just kind of feels like that when he gets angry a lot anyways. He seems to get angry a lot. So I do get the sense that Zelensky is being helped by the U.S. a lot more than we realize. And he's being used as well as a proxy war, or the Ukraine is being used as a proxy war by the U.S. to fight Russia. So it's kind of like the U.S. is fighting Russia without fighting Russia, if that makes sense. So they don't have to deal with it directly. On some level, I get that Zelensky is willing to destroy some of the old in order to build something new. And so this country's been in conflict and war for a long time, and so he's willing to, he's kind of wanting change on some level to let things crumble down a little bit in order to unify further with more like an international connection and kind of rebuild it on some level. Although at the same time, I do get that he is connected with his cultural traditions and very proud of his people. And so there's almost like a conflict between those two scenarios. So he's backed by the U.S. He's kind of a puppet of the U.S. is what I was getting. And so this has to do with his faithfulness, and on some level he can be so faithful that he can be deceived a little bit and become a bit of a puppet for a cause, which is his country, but also the United States cooperating and kind of using him on some level to further their goals worldwide. When I asked about Zelensky's alliances, any more people, countries he may be allianced with, what I got was Poland. And at that point in time, I didn't know where Poland was, so I looked it up on the map, and I just saw that Poland is on the border with Ukraine, so they're right next to each other. So I guess that makes sense. So Zelensky, I see him leaning towards working more internationally, kind of outside of Ukraine, and allowing more international control to take over Ukraine. There could be a surprise attack around April, causing Zelensky to be evacuated and kind of taken to safety. And this could be covered up too. But in general, he's not afraid because of all this secret protection, if you want to call it, by the United States, where he's safer than he may appear. I hear him saying to people, "We are going to change the world," and it's this very revolutionary message. And I see him being able to rile people up with this. He has like a social influence, like a very strategic social conditioning to kind of control the population on some level, to get people to fight and to stand up for Ukraine and believe in him. When I get more into some of the other conspiracy theories I wanted to tune into, there's this theory that he is a Nazi, and before I say yes or no, I want to explain there's kind of two ways of looking at that. And the mainstream way of looking at that is that he's a neo-Nazi, plain and simple. And when I tuned into that, which, he may be Jewish, but I was open to anything because it's a wild world. But what I got was that he is not a neo-Nazi, and he's actually very much so opposed to Nazis. Now, the other way of looking at this, which is the conspiracy theory way of looking at it, is that this isn't just neo-Nazis, but that there's a group of secret governmental Nazis, like an organization of, some people call it a breakaway civilization, people who escaped from persecution after being a Nazi. And some of them, and this part you can read about on Wikipedia, Operation Paperclip, where there were Nazi scientists taken by the United States and used, instead of being sent to jail, they were given high levels as scientists working for the U.S. government. And then some theories say that these Nazi groups escaped and went to Antarctica or different areas and have on some level infiltrated parts of the U.S. government undercover. And so I took that into consideration here too, because who knows, it's a crazy world. When I tuned into that possibility, I also got that he is not in alliance with that, and that he would be opposed to that as well, just to be thorough and clear. So to wrap all this up, when I tune into just what's going on, I see the destruction within this whole situation kind of being taken advantage by the United States as a way to take over and gain more power in a way where they're not actually directly attacking anywhere or anyone. And there's no protest against them because they're not doing anything. Although they're kind of taking advantage of the situation. So they're creating more pressure for centralized power, and of course the United States is basically in control of the centralized power of the globalization of the world. So that's what they want. And so that's the kind of conspiracy theory that I do find some truth in. And this is mostly all about resources and land and just gaining power. So that is my reading on Zelensky, President of Ukraine. If you like this video, you can always give it a thumbs up, and also leave a comment, because I hear that comments are actually the best thing for the YouTube algorithm. So I appreciate that if you want to leave a comment below. And you can always contact me if you would like a private reading, or if you want to just learn more about me, you can check out my website, psychictai.yolasite.com, and that link will be below this video, so be sure to check that out if you haven't yet. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.